Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Watches TV, where I watch all the TV. I watch all the TV shows, the reality TV shows, the true crime shows, the trending shows, and I react to them over here. So if you like TV, you are in the right place. And I have so many videos to get caught up on over here. I actually finished like 4 shows this weekend, and so I have them all on a list of videos to make over here. So I have Sister Wives Season 7 to do my reaction to. I watched a true crime documentary, Lost Women of Highway 20. I watched Defending Jacob, so I have those 3 are new. I want to do a video doing my top 10 favorite true crime documentaries of all time. I also want to do my reaction to the true crime documentary Cropsey, Pretty Little Liars Season 2, Bridgerton Season 3, I still haven't done that one, The Pillowcase Murders, which is true crime, The Jenks 2, which is true crime, The Ones Who Live, which is a spinoff of The Walking Dead, and Daryl Dixon, which is a spinoff of The Walking Dead. And Daryl Dixon is getting ready to come back for Season 2. So I'll probably do that one in a second. So the other night, I was really struggling to come up with a show to watch. And if you watch my vlog, you'll know I talked about this over on my vlog. I was like, I didn't have anything to get up for the next day, and I had taken a nap, and I was really excited because I had like 7-8 hours to just like binge watch a show, and I wanted to start and watch a show. I ended up watching Defending Jacob, and then I finished it the next day. Or I started it. I watched like 2 episodes. I can't remember what I watched, but then I binged it the whole next day, and then I watched that. So Defending Jacob, I will tell you, before I even come out and do my reaction, is like just as good as Presumed Innocent, if not better. I thought Defending Jacob on Apple TV was fantastic. It's with Chris Evans. It's a couple of years old. It's kind of been on my list for a while to watch, but it was fantastic. So I'm really in this thriller mood right now. I'm really, interested in watching thrillers. I went through this like Harlan Coben thing. While I'm watching all this, I also have Below Deck Mediterranean, Real Housewives of Dubai, Real Housewives of Orange County, all those shows that I'm watching with my husband. Big Brother I'm watching on a regular basis. If you guys want me to do another Big Brother video over here, let me know and I will do it. I'm very bored this season with Big Brother, honestly. I kind of thought last night, I was like, should I even keep on watching it? But I'm already committed to it, so I'm going to keep on watching it. But I'm really in this thriller mood. And so I had started Evil, which I think is 3 or 4 seasons. And I watched like 1 episode and I liked it, but I wasn't like completely sold on it. And I wanted to watch something that was like one of the Harlan Coben ones, or like Presumed Innocent, where it's like 8 episodes in and out, right? And I knew that The Good Girl's Guide to Murder, based on the young adult novel by Holly Jackson, which is a series of books, was coming out. And I was like, oh, I think it came out on August 1st. I remember this like 2 nights ago, right? And so I thought that I thought it was 10 episodes and they were releasing 1 episode a day. Now, I don't know how they released it, because when I found it, all the episodes were already out. But it's actually only 6 episodes. And so I started watching it 2 nights ago. I think I watched the first 2 episodes the first night, and then last night I watched the last 4 episodes of it. And I have to say, I was really excited about it. One of the actresses in it, the main actress that plays Pip, she is from the TV show Wednesday, which was fantastic. They got signed for a season 2 with Christina Ricci, or Christina Ricci's in that, but why can't I think of her name now? Oh, she was in Scream. I love the show. Oh, why can't I think I'm gonna have to look her up. Now it's like literally on the tip of my tongue. Why is it? Is it Jenna Ortega? I think it's Jenna Ortega. But anyway, I love the TV show Wednesday. I thought it was fantastically done. And so I was like, okay, if this has got her in it, and it's a young adult novel. So for those of you that don't know, I got my start on YouTube. Well, my consistent start I got on BookTube. BookTube is a community of YouTubers that make videos about book reviews, and they talk about like the hot trending books. They, do book hauls and things like that. When I got started on BookTube, young adult, and it still is huge on BookTube. And Holly Jackson was somebody that was like a lot of people were talking about. Her books were getting a lot of attention on BookTube, and have for several years. And so, and I don't think I've ever actually read one of her books. I do have this book downloaded, but I haven't read it. So I was like, when I saw this come up, I was talking to my friend Nikki, and Nikki was like, those are like, that series of books, like I think there's 3 books in the series, 3 or 4 books. She was like, I love that series. I'm so excited this is coming out. I didn't even know about it. So when I saw it 2 nights ago and I was looking for something to watch, it was on the Netflix top 10. And so I was like, oh, I'm really excited about this. So before I get into what I thought about this show, let me read you a little synopsis. So It says on here, Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It is one season, 6 episodes. It came out in 2024 on Netflix. In a nutshell, it is gripping, suspenseful, and chilling. Pip Fitz-Imabi, a brilliant woman, is unsure whether schoolgirl Andy Bell was killed by her lover Sal Singh 5 years ago. They must see how far they will go to protect Pip from learning the truth if Sal Singh turns out not to be the murderer. And so it's based on this book. I guess this is like book 1 of the series, and so they're saying that it could get renewed for other seasons and it could like follow the other books. So it's about this girl named Pip, and she's in high school. I think she's supposed to be like a junior, becoming like a senior or whatever, you know, like going into her last year of high school. And so she's like taking her exams and all this kind of stuff, and she has to do this. Basically, it's like a senior study or something. Maybe she's a senior in the show, but I think it's the summer, like it's going into her senior. She has to do like the senior seminar kind of thing, right? And she has to pick the topic that she wants to do. Well, 5 years previous to this 16-year-old girl named Andy Bell was murdered. They live in this small town in England, and she was murdered. And this guy that she was dating at the time, Sal, was accused of the crime. And it all had a lot to do with like timing of like when he left this party. This friend said he left at 10:30 and things like that. And so he ended up getting like questioned by the police, and they said it was him and all this kind of stuff. And then he ends up taking his life. So it looks like he did it. And now his family and his brother, he has a younger brother, after this have kind of like fallen, like they've like, you know, people don't talk to them and all this kind of stuff because they think that their son was a murderer and his brother was a murderer. So she doesn't believe this because of this one moment in time where she's standing in the hallway. If she's 16 at this point or 17, she would have been like 11 or 12 at the time. And she looks like 8 in the TV show when they show it. She's like standing in the hallway in this locker, by these lockers, and Sal comes along and he's like, have you seen Andy? They flash back to this scene like probably 20 times in the show. And he says, have you seen Andy? And she says, yeah, she went through there. And so because of that one scene, she thinks Sal's like a really nice guy, and she doesn't believe that he's done it. I know, it doesn't make any sense to me either. So anyway, this is what the show's about. So it's about this girl, and she decides to do her senior seminar on like what really happened to this girl, Andy Bell, because she was like super popular and everybody liked her and all this kind of stuff. And so she's going to solve this murder because she doesn't believe that Sal committed the crime based on this one moment in time that she I know, it doesn't make any sense either. So anyway, but I'm like in it. I'm like small English town, murder mystery, 6 episodes, thriller. I'm totally down for this, right? Let me just tell you, this might be one of the most boring shows I have ever watched in my entire life. And I told my friend, I say, if the book is like the show, I have no desire to read the series or anything by Holly Jackson. Like this show, it wasn't even a slow burn. Okay, a slow burn to me is like when something kind of like moves kind of slowly. Like Sharp Objects was a slow burn to me. It was like it started off slow and then it just got so good. And it was so good by the end. This was not a slow burn. This was just slow. I mean, painfully slow. And it didn't even really get good until like the halfway through the second to the last episode. And then finally you kind of catch on what's going on. And first of all, it goes in 100 different directions, which a lot of mysteries do. So she starts working with Sal's brother, and there's kind of this like, you know, sub-story of them like this romantic thing, which at the end they kiss, and so she's in love with him and all this kind of stuff. But it seems like she's constantly getting caught and everything. She's trying to figure this whole thing out. So she's talking to Andy Bell, the murdered girl's sister, and she's talking to all the friends of hers. None of the friends want to talk to her. And so she tries to find out all this kind of stuff. She finds out that Andy Bell was dealing drugs and that she had this older boyfriend, who the older boyfriend ends up being, I mean, they all live in this small town. There's probably only 500 people in this town, okay? And the secret older boyfriend ends up being the father / English teacher, her English teacher / father of her best friend, and also the best friend of the sister of the Andy. It's so confusing, y'all, okay? And so what ends up happening is, really, it's like the second to the last episode, she like kind of puts 2 and 2 together. And so she's over at her friend's house, and she keeps on getting all these letters like, stop digging into this and whatever. I mean, there were moments of this where I was like drinking my sleepy time tea and I felt very English, and I was like, oh, this is kind of spooky. And then it was like just for a moment. Like, this is the problem with this show, is that the actors and the actresses in this show, it was fantastically casted. And I think the small town they filmed it in was adorable, and I think it was very spooky and scary on its own. It was it was surrounded by woods. And I also think that it had a lot of elements of like a younger generation, like they go to this rave thing called Calamity, and that's where they all do these drugs and stuff like that. And it had a lot to do with like cell phones and like fake texting people and all this kind of stuff. So it brought in kind of like this modern element to it. I don't know why it was boring. I don't know if the book is just boring, if the story is just boring. It just was boring. I just really wasn't that interested. I think from the get-go, they just show the girl walking down the street and she's itching at her head and there's blood. Like I think if they started the whole show off differently, it would have been more interesting. To be honest with you, I don't really know why I was bored. I mean, I just kind of ended it. And there are some very like endearing scenes in it. Like at the end, she's talking to her mom and she's like talking about going to college and whether she's going to go to Cambridge. And she's like talking to her mom and like, I don't know if, like, and she's a stepfather that she's closer with than her biological father. And she's like, I don't know if I want these things because you want these things or if I want them for myself. There's like a lot of really endearing moments. There's endearing moments between her and this guy. I don't know. It just missed the mark for me. I don't even really know how to explain it. I think you'd have to watch it. I would really be surprised if people watch this show and they were like, this is fantastic. Like, I was bored. And I'm somebody that like, hey, listen, okay, I don't even care if it has that much depth. If it's a good thriller, I'm in it to win it. I think it was partly because it went in like 50 different directions. First, it's like this younger police officer. Then there was like this car accident that was like a hit and run. And then it was like that didn't really play into anything, but it all kind of played in together. But then it was down to like, then when did the guy leave the party? And then the older sister's like, look at this thing. I mean, she didn't just show it to her. She's like, you can look at my computer and then look at this picture. And then she looks at this picture. And then on the picture, the clock in the background says like 12:23. And she's like, who's taking the picture? And she's like, oh, Sal must have taken the picture, which means that he didn't leave the party then. Okay, well, we already know you don't think that he did it. So it takes like 5.5 episodes to get to where it's the dad. She realizes by being on the printer that she prints off something on her birthday because she gets this letter, oh, her dog is killed. That was really sad. And so she prints this thing off the printer that says, stop looking into this, Pip, or something like that. And so she realizes it's the dad. Then she goes to their old house, which the daughter says they sold like 5 years ago. And she thinks he's keeping, because they've never found this body, right? And so she thinks he's keeping her there, but then it's not her that he's keeping there. It's some girl that he met at the bus station that looks like Andie Bell, because he was having a relationship with Andie Bell. But it's this girl that looks like Andie Bell, and he's keeping her in the attic, okay? And that's like literally, 10 minutes of the whole show. They focus so much time on this rave, and it's like the rave has really nothing to do with it. It's 10 minutes of the show. I mean, the drug dealing at the rave and all that kind of stuff, that has something to do with it because she's dealing like rohypnol and stuff like that. And so then she finally like goes back and talks to her sister about, just the story is so confusing. And then the sister's like, well, she was going to leave me. And then you find out that she was going to leave and run off with this Sal guy. And so, but she had come home and she and the dad of the guy that she was having the affair with, got into a fight. She hurt her head. That's why she had blood in her head. And then the sister pushed her and she hit the wall and then she died gargling on her own vomit. And then she put her in this well in some cave system that this small town apparently had this cave system that nobody knew about. And then she's trying to put this Pip girl down there, but she's got her tracker on her friend's phone, so they find her, and that's how so her sister basically is the one that killed her and put her in the drain, but she didn't really because the other guy had hit her first. It's just, and then she had drugged this Pip girl with the rohypnol. The whole thing was so confusing. And then it ends with this guy that's been going to these rave parties, drugging all these girls, and you hate him from the beginning, right? And she's like, I'm gonna vindicate every girl that you've ever hurt, and she marches off and she's smiling. That's how the whole show. Oh no, then she ends up kissing this brother of the Sal guy, which I was waiting 6 episodes for that romance to start. It just was boring. I didn't understand it. I feel the one scary moment is she and her friends, they're kind of they're supposed to be kind of nerdy, but they're not really nerdy. That was the other thing. They could have really played into the whole nerdy aspect of it. And they're hiking, they're in the woods and they're camping out, and they play this it's not the Ouija board, but it's some kind of Charlie or something like that. I didn't understand it. It was Red Rover. Anyway, I didn't know what this game was, but it was a pencil, yes, no, I don't know. But anyway, they ask if Andie Bell's there, if she's buried there, and the pencil goes to yes. And then that part was kind of scary to me. But literally it was 5 minutes. The show was not scary. It wasn't, what did it say, chilling? No, it wasn't. It was boring. The show was boring. The house was cute that she lived in. The little town was cute and stuff like that. I don't know. I just was so bored with it. I don't know. And sometimes this is the thing. I'm such an avid reader. If you know, on my other channels, you probably know that. I'm such an avid reader, but sometimes there are some books that should just not be made into movies. Like Paper Towns by John Green, and I love John Green's writing. But like Fault in Our Stars even kind of missed the mark a little bit. Like the movie was fantastically done, but the book was so much better. You can never get everything into a TV show or a movie. Now, I will say there are some movies and TV shows that I have liked better than the books, right? But like, Fault in Our Stars, I loved the book, but the movie still like honored it and was so well done. Like the movie was so well done, Fault in Our Stars. Paper Towns, like they changed the ending. It completely missed the mark. I can remember because I love the book Paper Towns, and I can remember watching the movie and I just was like, this is not it at all. Well, I don't know what the book was like because I haven't read the book by Holly Jackson, but this TV show was not it. I thought the casting was fantastically. The girl that plays Pip, she was in Wednesday. She's fantastic in the role. The role of her parents, fantastic. The role of her friends, fantastic. The girl that plays Andy Bell, fantastic. I mean, everybody in it. This guy that the love interest, Sal's brother that she works with, fantastic. The acting's fantastic. It just was boring. I don't even really know how to explain it to you. It was so boring. I just was not excited about watching it. And this is a show that I would always get excited about watching. The kind of show. So I don't know why it missed the mark. Somebody please explain to me in the comment section below if it missed the mark for you and why you think it is. Because I don't know. I know I finished it and I just was kind of like, huh. I was like, if they put out season 2, will you watch it? Probably. And I'll probably say it's boring too. Huh. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.